To create the Tunisian earwarmer or headband, you'll need a Tunisian hook, and this is one of my favorites from Purl. This is a 5.5 millimeter. You will also need a ring to attach the headband around in the center, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, and of course some yarn. I love this yarn from We Crochet. It's the Upcycle Reserve Wool Worsted. This is the Amarillo color, and I really like it for the upcycle wool. And I like the color variations in every single strand. So this is what I will be using today. To get started, we are going to tie a slip knot and place that onto our hook. Now I want to mention, because we will be sewing, I'm going to redo the slip knot because I want a longer tail end. We will want a longer tail end to sew in one side over the ring. So we'll worry about that later, but for now, at least have 12 inches of a tail end of your slip knot and then place it on your hook. Then we are going to chain 16. And now for our first row, we are going to do the simple Tunisian stitch. We are going to insert our hook into the second chain from the hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Notice we already have 2 stitches on the Tunisian hook. We will continue to do this across. Insert into the next hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You can repeat this across into every single chain stitch. Now once we get to the end here, we have 16 stitches on our Tunisian hook. So now we're going to work our way back, and to do so we will always chain the first stitch, so yarn over and chain that first stitch. And now for the rest, we are going to yarn over and pull through 2. We'll repeat that all the way across. And now we are back to where we started. We still have 1 loop on the hook. This does count as our first stitch. So now that we're going to work the next row, we are going to be working into these vertical bars, but we don't need to worry about this first vertical bar because that's considered already worked by this first stitch on our hook. So we are going to enter our hook into this vertical bar, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So that's a regular Tunisian stitch. Now we're going to do a purl Tunisian stitch. This is where we bring our working yarn to the front, insert our hook into that next vertical bar with this yarn in front, and now we're going to bring our yarn back to the back, yarn over the hook from back to front, and pull through. And that's a purl Tunisian stitch. Next, we will do the regular. And then for the purl, we bring our yarn to the front, insert our hook, take the yarn to the back, then we yarn over and pull through. We're going to repeat that across. So do a regular Tunisian stitch and then a purl. Now when we get to this last stitch in the row, we will go through the 2 side loops. It makes for a cleaner edge. So we'll go through the 2 side loops and we'll do a regular Tunisian stitch. A regular Tunisian stitch will always be used for this last stitch. Now we're going to work our way back across, where we will simply chain 1 and then yarn over and pull through 2 all the way across. Now for our next row, we will be working it similarly. However, we're going to be rotating where we did our purl and our knits. So this was a purl stitch. You can notice that the purl stitches have this horizontal bar in front of them. That's how you can identify those purl stitches, is by this horizontal bar that runs in front of it. What we want to do for every time we're making our pass from right to left is we want to alternate the purl and the knits, the regular Tunisian stitches. So this one was regular Tunisian, and now we need to do that one as a purl. So we'll bring our yarn to the front and we will purl. And then we will do a regular Tunisian stitch and then a purl Tunisian stitch all the way across. And now a regular and a purl. And then this is a regular Tunisian, and still in the last we're going to do another regular where we go through both of those loops on the edge stitch and pull up a loop. And now once again we will be yarning over, chaining the first, yarn over, and pull through 2 all the way across. And that is our repeat. Those 4 rows are the repeat. So you'll just simply be doing those 4 rows to create the honeycomb pattern. So I just want to show you again, starting over with our repeat. Our very first stitch, the last time we did it, this was a purl stitch. So we want to go ahead and do a regular Tunisian stitch and then just rotate back and forth between the purls and the regular. And you work that all the way across. And then the next pass that you do will be working back across from left to right. And then when we work from right to left again, we're just simply going to do the opposite of the stitches below. So follow that 4-row repeat until your fabric, which you can already see what's working up here, it's really pretty, until your fabric is the length that it needs to be. It does stretch a little, so you can try it around your head to see what fit you like. Once the ends meet, that's as long as it should be. To bind off for this Tunisian head wrap, we will simply insert our hook into this first vertical bar and then slip stitch. And then go into the next vertical bar and slip stitch. So we will do this all the way across. This is what we're doing for the very last row, so that all the stitches are worked and also we have a nice clean edge. This is how we're going to finish this. So keep your tension not too tight because you don't really want it to bunch too much, but just doing those slip stitches across to finish off this edge. And once I've worked the last one, I can go ahead and fasten off, and be sure to leave, at least 12 inches for the tail end, because we're going to use that to next sew it to our ring. Now that we have our Tunisian strip of fabric done, and I would measure this as you go for the length that you want. You can always wrap it around your head, and if it touches, you're done. We do want it to fit snugly on the head, so you don't want to do too much fabric to where it's just going to fall down. So it's nice that it has some stretch, and we want it to stretch and fit snugly onto the head. So we'll go ahead and fold in our sides here, and we're going to take our ring and we are going to put one side of the fabric and our tail end through the ring like so. Then on the wrong side, this is the wrong side of our work, we are going to stitch this in place. The nice thing is we're working with texture stitches, so stitching really doesn't show with this yarn and these stitches. So it's easy to do, and we're simply going to fold it and stitch it in place. And then we'll do the same to the other side and weave in our ends. And now for the other side, we'll do the same, where we're going to put this edge through the hole. You can kind of move this in if you want to give yourself a little bit more space, and fold it around. And I find it easiest to stitch it from the wrong side, that way you can Make sure that your fabric is catching just where it needs to. And now we'll stitch this side. And now we'll weave in our ends and cut off our yarn, and look at that. We have a really, really cute head wrap. This is made with wool yarn, so it actually can work as an ear warmer. You can either push your yarn to hide the ring or pull it to show a little bit of the ring, which is what I really like to do. And this can be worn for, you know, the days you have frizzy hair like I do and you just kind of want to have a quick updo, or also in the winter to keep your ears warm. I hope you enjoy this. There are other versions, a crochet version and a knit version of this on my blog as well. And I hope you join me again soon for more fun projects.